What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Grand Dwargo, the first hero king of the dwarf race, was an ancestor who inherited the high dwarf bloodline and was a close friend of Sylvia-san. For long-lived species, even historical figures were personal acquaintances. Sylvia-san and Guy are like living witnesses to this history. It's not an exaggeration to say that.
My father was definitely a high elf.
Kagali was confused, realizing her understanding was shaky. She tried to make sense of the discrepancy, and we all reached the same conclusion simultaneously.
My father, Jahil, was.
He was taken over by Jahil, then.
Well, that guy was a real lowlife. No wonder Rain and Misery couldn't eliminate him, but it's caused a lot of trouble.
Kagali, I, and Guy all agreed on this point. Jahil's identity was confirmed.
So then, my father is.
Kagali muttered, leaning back in her chair. Unsure of how to comfort her, we quietly left the room. Later that night, Guy and I moved to another location to have a drink together. By the way, the drinks we were enjoying were the ones I stored in my stomach. Guy had insisted forcefully that I provide the same drinks Rain and the others had enjoyed. I wanted to tell him off, but I caved in for the sake of convenience. Defending myself against Guy was too exhausting, so I decided to just comply. Diablo, Benamaru, Soy, Rain, and Misery were also at the gathering. Sylvia-san joined us too, and the secret late-night meeting commenced quietly. The main topic was what to do with the country now that Leon was gone. During the daytime meeting, we had assessed the enemy's strength, so now we were finalizing our future plans. The town's damage wasn't too severe, but Leon's castle was in bad shape, and many people were displaced. The problem was finding a place for the refugees. The knight captains wanted to stay and rebuild the town and castle, but if the aggressors targeted this place, they wouldn't have enough forces to defend it. With Leon gone, the likelihood of being targeted was lower, but we couldn't ignore the risk.
If they're going to stay, why not let them do as they please?
That was Guy's opinion. I disagreed because it was risky.
But talking about ideals won't help, right? You could ask El Chen, but I doubt Syrian would accept them either.
The total population of Leon's country was less than 20 million. It would be impossible to provide enough food for that many people. They could manage for a few days, but without knowing how long, it was uncertain. The people of the Golden Land El Dorado would be demoralized if they were sheltered without work. Long-term idleness would cause anxiety. Evacuating to another country was unrealistic, as pointed out earlier. Leaving someone behind to guard them was also.
By the way, Guy, you're not planning to stay here, are you?
Well, I suppose it's fine.
I guess it's no good. As I thought.
What? We don't really have a choice. This place isn't that important, but still, there's always a chance they'll target it.
No way, is this a joke? I didn't expect Guy to agree so readily, and I was at a loss for words.
I am surprised. I didn't expect the terribly ruthless and cruel Red King Rouge to be so understanding.
The rumors about him were indeed unreliable. Sylvia-san was shocked, and I agreed with her.
Are you guys looking for a fight?
No way. I would never pick a fight I can't win.
Of course not. I'm counting on you, Guy-san.
His eyes were glaring. Sylvia-san and I exchanged glances and tried to cover it up with friendly smiles. It was settled that Guy would defend Leon's territory. Then, Kagali arrived.
Oh, Kagali-san, have you settled down yet?
Yes, it was so long ago that I don't even remember the details now. There is no point in getting overly sentimental about it.
Kagali's words were firm, but it was clear she was putting on a brave face. Misery thoughtfully prepared a seat for Kagali, who thanked her and sat down.
So, is there something you wanted to talk about?
Guy asked directly. His straightforwardness was one of his strengths. Kagali seemed to appreciate this and began to speak with a wry smile.
I just thought I'd tell you everything I know.
Seeing Kagali's refreshed expression, I thought to myself, this is going to be a long story. Although I had heard a bit of the discussion during the day, I felt this would delve into Kagali's personal life. So, I wanted to confirm first.
Are you sure it's okay for us to hear about this?
Yes, I am grateful to Rimuru Dono, so if you don't mind, I would love to share.
With her permission, we listened to Kagali's story in silence. It was a deeply personal story, recounting Kagali's long life as a princess of a great nation. She spoke of her guilt towards Milam, her fear of Guy, and her resentment towards Leon and its eventual resolution. Listening to her, I almost felt guilty for having killed Clayman. The Clayman in Kagali's story was kind and caring, loved by his friends. However, his role as a demon lord distorted him, and he was ultimately used by Lieutenant Kondu. This led to many misfortunes, and he was abandoned by the demon lords, especially Guy. And I was the one who had killed Clayman.
About Clayman, well.
Oh, there is no need to apologize. I was the one who came up with the plan. and Rimuru Dono was simply more capable. In this world, it's all about survival of the fittest, and there's no reason to show mercy to the defeated.
That was indeed true. From our perspective, Clayman had been entirely malevolent, and eliminating him had spared us a lot of suffering. Even if there was another side to him, it didn't change the necessity of our actions. However, considering that he was likely manipulated, I found myself feeling an unexpected sympathy for him. That's why I decided to share something with Kagali that I had been hesitant about.
Actually, I wanted to talk to you about Teare.
Teare was another member of the moderate clown troupe who had caused us trouble. She wasn't as bad as Clayman or Footman, but she had still been a nasty enemy. Now that we had an agreement, we were no longer enemies. It was natural to help her as an ally, if not as a friend. That's why I rescued Teare when she was about to be killed by Jahil. She had been seriously injured while protecting Kagali and was still resting in her hospital room with Seal-san's help.
Isolation of the information particles that constituted Clayman's heart has been completed. Would you like to combine them together to make up for Teare's missing components?
When I was asked about this, I agreed to explain. Reflecting on it, I realized that I had absorbed Clayman entirely. I thought I had taken all of him as energy, but it seems some residue was placed in isolation. I didn't want to leave such a thing behind, and I thought Clayman would be happier rejoining his friends rather than staying in my body. Seal-san could possibly have revived Clayman completely, with a high chance of success if the emulated soul had inhabited the residue and been given a temporary body. But I never sought that answer. Clayman was gone. That's why I wanted to help Teare using a part of him. This was entirely my decision, driven by my own ego, and I wasn't sure if I should tell Kagali and the others. But now, I decided it was the right thing to do.
Is that so? That kid, with Teare. Thank you.
Kagali muttered, smiling wistfully. I thought I was doing it just to satisfy myself, but I'm glad Kagali seemed pleased too. It would have been better if the conversation had ended there.
By the way, Rimuru-kun, I've been listening to you, and I think you're being too selfish.
Indeed, even the divine ancestor didn't do something as well as collecting the residues of the dead and transplanting them into others.
I forgot these guys were here. It would have been better if I had just ignored them, but I took the bait.
When did you guys become such good friends?
Huh? We don't really get along, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, right. From my perspective, you're the one who's incomprehensible, casually chatting with the Lord of Darkness, who is synonymous with fear.
It doesn't matter even if you say something like that, you know? After all, Guy was a lot more open-minded than I originally thought. He didn't get worked up over minor issues, so as long as you were careful about the important matters, he was surprisingly easy to get along with. In fact, once you understood his boundaries, interacting with him was smoother than expected.
I knew Rimuru-kun was unusual, even more so than what El-chen told me. Initially, I thought Guy Crimson was a terrifying demon who became a demon lord after killing my brother Jahil in seconds. If it were that easy to get along with him, no one would have any trouble, right?
I didn't have the chance to interrupt her as she rambled on. Seeing as like that, Guy himself spoke with a laugh.
I think it's quite bold of you to say that in front of me.
Ah, Sylvia-san seems to have taken a liking to Guy. Guy tends to respect those who don't fear him. This seemed like the beginning of a good relationship for the future. I thought I had managed to steer away from the subject, but that wasn't the case.
So, Rimuru, what did you do with Clayman's residue?
Unfortunately, Guy hadn't forgotten, so I had to explain.
No, it just sort of happened, you know? It was really just a coincidence when I was saving them from Jahil's attack.
I let it slip out. It's a little sad that I had gotten used to this, but revealing the whole truth was out of the question. I had no intention of disclosing my abilities, and if the situation demanded, I intended to keep it to myself.
That's suspicious. Are you hiding something?
Talk to him more. He always keeps quiet about the important stuff.
Shut up, you guys. There's a lot I don't get, and I have no idea why it happened this time either.
Honestly, it was Seal-san who handled it, right? I don't really know the details myself, and I definitely don't want others getting tangled up in it either. Despite never having met before, Guy and Sylvia-san got along perfectly. It was also my first time meeting Sylvia-san, but since she looked so much like El-tan, it didn't feel like a first meeting. Our late-night secret meeting unexpectedly turned friendly and lively. Following the conversation's flow, Sylvia-san broke the ice.
By the way, Kagali-san, I wasn't sure if I should ask this, but could you tell me about your friends?
There was no mockery in her tone, just determination.
Huh?
Kagali, puzzled by Sylvia-san's question, paused before speaking as if she remembered something.
I think I know what you want to ask, so it's fine. And you don't have to use san with me. Just call me Kagali.
Thank you. Then you can call me Sylvia. Now, I know it may seem sudden, but...
It's about Laplace, right?
Yeah, you heard about it.
Yes, Laplace reacted to your voice when you called him Sarian. If Sarian from the Sorcerer's Dynasty is Laplace's real name, then I've got quite a person on my side.
Their conversation continued. I didn't understand what they were discussing, but it seemed to involve Laplace's true identity.
Wait, Laplace is an ex-chosen hero?
Yes, that's right. And by the way, he's my husband and Elchen's father.
Seriously?
Dead serious.
I stared at Kagali in disbelief, but she nodded calmly. She seemed to have already come to terms with everything. The same seemed true for Sylvia-san. Although it must have happened a long time ago, she showed no resentment towards Kagali, even though she could have been angry about her husband, whom she thought was dead, being turned into an undead elf.
I'm sorry. I don't blame you for hating me, but I'm still glad that I met Laplace.
I am happy to hear that, too. It reassures me that he didn't change even after he died. The way he defended you at the end made me realize that the man I loved is truly gone.
According to Sylvia-san, Laplace could have escaped if he had wanted to. But he didn't, perhaps out of pride in being a member of the moderate clown troupe. There's no way to know for sure now.
Well, that's not entirely true.
I didn't intend to comfort her, but those words slipped out. It was selfish, but I couldn't give up hope. Seal-san had told me that the chances of them being alive were not zero. That's why I decided to believe that Yuki and Laplace were still alive. Yuki had always given me a lot of trouble, but as he was also Japanese and a disciple of Shizu-san, I expected to be more affected by his death. The reason I didn't feel sad was because I suspected his death was a lie. No, he had disappeared before my eyes without a trace, but I couldn't trust it. He had deceived me many times. That's why I believed he was alive. As long as I thought that, there was no need to be sad.
You're right. The boss is incredibly stubborn.
Yeah, Sarian has been alive all this time and never reached out to me. He reincarnated as an undead elf, lost his memory, and left me on my own. There's no point in worrying about someone like that, so I will just move on.
Apparently, my words had an impact. I had worried that my comments might have been inappropriate, but if they helped lift Kagali's and Sylvia-san's spirits even a little, then I had done well. And so, our late-night conversations continued, as we focused on overcoming today's sorrows to prepare for tomorrow's battles.
A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, Nate, Havox, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rossan, Jarius Ladek, Ray Perez, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, Sanketh Chelu, T. Bush, John L, Edgar Fuentes, JV, Thomas, J, Christ, Joshua Cousins, Vethelny, Khaled, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Panda Cats, DeAndre Nance, Monty Boy 98, D-Man, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Kamal Ebanks, Isaac, Koala King 93, Paul DeGrassi, Little 95, Quilly Buckner, Zephyrus, Alver, Normal Defate, L, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Liron Sangkap, Lucas Gay, Jason Martin, Ekotski, Foolish Prophets, Ethan Madison, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Andre Hamilton, Guy Ansley, Simon Road, Emperor WSA, Mika Espinosa, George Hage, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Arod Dare, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Homelike Drop, Vasto Lord, Martin Ramos, Marl Barsha, Hansel Ortega, Karam Faraj, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Kamal Luke, Spencer Candila, Ian Sikibuyol, Putate, Thanakorn Lee Sawat, Lamar, KACP9R, Tony, The Harv, Mike Roch, Matthew Abraham, Drayden Yamauchi. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.